Welcome to Vermont Artists and Authors, where we interview great storytellers and artists from the amazing Green Mountain State. I'm your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com, and we're honored to have with us the highly talented and internationally recognized Vermont artist and businesswoman, Larisa Volkovich-Ute.
Yay!
Yay! See, I got it, Larisa. Yeah. My friend of mine, when I was down in Brattleboro, because you're in Brattleboro right now,
Yes.
Brattleboro, Vermont. And so in northern Vermont, we like to call Brattleboro the jewel of the South. It is an amazing little part in the Vermont, which is the anchor of southeastern Vermont is right there is Brattleboro. You're there now living in Brattleboro. You actually have a shop that you opened up, and it's called Leopard Frog. And the Leopard Frog, there's a meaning behind that, and also with some Vermont roots, correct?
Yes, exactly. So Leopard Frog is Vermont state amphibian officially, but no one knows about it. So I wanted to have a Vermont name, and every time I have customers, people come in and say, it's like, oh, why Leopard Frog? And I'm like, Leopard Frog is Vermont state amphibian. And usually people say, I lived in Vermont my entire life and I've never heard about it.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because you kind of have a very unique niche because you make the are you so you in your shop itself, there's a lot of your own art there that you make, but also you also host, you said like 15 artists are
Yes,
also able to sell some of their art there.
sometimes 20 of artists from the area, and we do everything from jewelry to wall art to ceramics. So I'm pretty lucky to be able to have a shop and have these amazing and talented artists by my side.
So I know that, so Leopard Frog, your shop itself is a kind of unique. It's not like your average art shop. So because you have something in there, you have your concept of experiential touchable art. Is that true?
Yes, so I wanted to have an art shop or like an art gallery that does feel welcoming, and that does feel like that people can touch all the things, that people can look at all the things, and that people can also experience the art in their daily life. So it's like, so I'm not limiting myself to just the wall art. I have artistic jewelry that people can wear. I have artistic ceramics that people can, use at home. Tea towels with the images from, local artists. I'm a big promoter of art that can be used and surround us on a daily basis.
How are you able to strike a balance between the exclusivity of an art gallery and the accessibility of a gift shop at Leopard
Yeah, that's a tough one. It that requires to have a certain stand
Frog?
where you're like calling yourself an art gallery, but not afraid, to have like some gifts. So, but I think my idea is that gifts can have like accessible price, but they still can be like unique, not mainstream necessarily, and they can still, like help people with their self-expression, and help artists with their self-expression. So I think it's kind of two targets here: to showcase the artists and help them self-express, and help people to self-express through wearing the items created by the artists.
Right. So can you describe the types of artists and artwork that you feature at Leopard Frog, and what qualities do you look for in the artists that you work with?
um I can I my personal like flavor and taste, and that fits like my concept, are colorful, unique, whimsical uh,
Mm.
items. That items that you see, they are made by, that's that's a brand of a leopard frog. They are made by me and by other two artists, and those are exactly the pins that I'm talking about, and they have like some little stories in each pin. So you're not
Hmm.
only wearing like a pin, you're wearing a little story. You might have this French bulldog, or you might be the person who likes, cabins or hiking or something like that. And it tells a little story that, might fit your lifestyle. One of my other favorite artists in the shop is Annie Lauterbach. She's from Brattleboro and she's a ceramic artist. And she makes the unique mugs with the local animals like raccoons, owls,
Huh.
possums, and stuff like that. I can show it. Right now, I'm showing the mug of Annie with a possum. And,
That's
it takes
gorgeous.
two firings to, to deliver that artwork into the surface of a mug. And the artwork is pretty amazing. So, so I love the artwork that brings up certain feelings. And for example, this other artist is Carol Collins, and she does the cards, and it's like very Vermont
Yeah.
animal, and there is some nice feeling that it brings up,
Right.
that like another ceramic artist. Oh, that's the same. That's Annie, but she does mushrooms as well. I'm showing like an amazing ceramic mushroom. And they're, I don't know, they're kind of like little pieces of magic that you bring to your
Yeah.
home. And another local artist like Elizabeth Clausen, she does the wool thing and she creates that funny creatures that she calls woolsies.
Okay.
And you know so they are all kind of falling into this story where the artists looked at the world around them and they express what they see around them with their own touch. Uh, and for certain artists, certain things are more important than others. There is an artist who is focuses on the eyes, on depicting the eyes of the animals with realism. And every time people come in, shop and they buy her cards or they buy her posters and they're like, oh my god, the eyes of the animals are just amazing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like really exciting because I'm like, that's exactly what she was trying to say. You got it.
Yeah.
So that type of art and that type of experience that brings up positive emotions, feeling of wonder, like raises curiosity. And I personally think that since the artists have like this superpower, like power to create, it's important to use it and it's important to promote it. And I think that's one of the great powers in this
Right.
world.
And so and it's for our listeners out there, so you definitely go to leopardfrog.shop. That's where we were talking about some of the pins. So you can see those pins there that Larissa was talking about. And so in the mug that you showed too, that beautiful ceramic pottery mug that's like quintessential Vermont looking earthy mug with an a possum painted on it. That was beautiful. And I want to ask you another question then as we're talking about it, because we mentioned earlier, Larissa, about experiential. So, how do you define experiential art and what makes it different from, say, more traditional forms of art?
Well, I define it basically like how people walk in and they have the experience of their own. They
Mm.
experience the art of the artist. The art becomes more accessible because it's not just the wall art; it's also the prints. So whatever when people have the experience like of certain thing, I always encourage to talk. I always encourage to share the stories of artists. It's not about the style of a particular artist. It's not about like the artistic way of expression. It's more like people can have an experience in that shop. That's I think that's what I was trying to deliver. In the world where everything is sold online, you know, I think for an art shop, it's really important to be this place where, you know, you can walk in, feel yourself like comfortable, and be able to touch things, ask questions, think how it fits your home, you know, how you can wear it, whatever ideas out there, you know, things like that.
You're an artist, but you're also a business owner. So
Yeah.
you're actually running a store. So which is making it basically two types of thought processes that you're going to have to go with here. How do you ensure then as a business owner, how do you ensure that the art that's sold at Leopard Frog remains fresh and new and authentic while still appealing to, say, like a diverse customer base?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have a tiny room upstairs. And that's my own production zone. So so when I come early before the shop open, or when it's the quiet hours at the shop, I go upstairs and paint, you know. So I've created a challenge where I'm painting for like 100 days. so so it's a commitment. It's a big one for me, and I'm actually thinking about switching to 1 year commitment. So I make new models of the earrings, new paintings, or you know, part of a new painting every day. So that's how I refresh my
Mm,
art. And in my art, it is especially important for me to express the new meanings, to reflect on new things that I noticed in the world, to kind of to showcase them. And I think the more I do it, the more I communicate with other artists, the more I communicate with other people who, you know, who can resonate with the story that I am telling with my art. And you know, and then the line picks up, and then you know, a new idea comes up. And I'm also part of the other artist collective in downtown, which is called Harmony Collective. And it's like 30 artists who run the shop. And Kay Curtis is the leader of that gallery. So I'm always connected with 30 other artists. You know, they can come in and be a part of my gallery. They can exchange their art. So a lot of my artists, they kind of come in and they change the things that they have on their shelves or something like that. So, and it's kind of also an experiment where, oh, this thing didn't sell very well, or maybe we will swap it with another thing. And it's always, you know, like it's always changing. The
mm.
artists, the items, you know, the work that I make. So I think I think I'm doing pretty well with keeping it fresh and interesting.
Well, hey there. If you're enjoying our podcast, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep this show going. We love hearing from you, so any feedback is welcome. And thank you for being a part of our podcast family and for all your support. It truly means a lot to us. So that's a good question. How long do you keep something on display or out there for sale that doesn't seem to be moving? How long do you keep something on a shelf before you rotate it out if it doesn't sell?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, uh, and here is the balance that also, you know, kind of goes back to your question that you ask about the balance. So there are things that sell better, and there are things that sell slower, but they are a high quality of art. And because I'm also committed to maintain a certain quality of my artwork on my shelves, and I trust my own taste. And that's also my, why question, why I'm doing it. There are things that sell slower, but I'm a
Mm.
big believer that those are, those are like the breakthrough in art, or like this is a new type of jewelry or something like that. And I will keep them in the shelves just because I opened the shop precisely because of, items like that, people like that who make those things to move those ideas and things forward. So I kind of balance it out and like, okay, I will buy a few colorful notebooks that people will still use, and it's kind of a product that goes easy, or colorful postcards that people will use and they will go. But it's like, but I will not say no to that thing that was sitting in my shop for a year because you know because that's an amazing piece. And and I think also that when people get to know the artists, they come
Mm.
back for that particular artist. And that's like the visibility of the artist is important. So that's a balance. Yeah.
Okay. Where do you see Leopard Frog evolving in the future with both the shop and online?
So I've added the third part into my business.
Mm.
So it's like I'm not only the artist, and I'm not only the person who runs that particular gallery. The third part of my business is wholesale. So I sell those particular pins or earrings that you can find on my online shop to the other shops around, the United States. And I just started, I think, last in the end of the last year, and my items are sold into, I don't know, 15 or 20 shops all around the United States. So I'm planning to grow that. And so that kind of activity helps me to be afloat and to grow. And I also hope to arrange artist individual exhibits in my space, so that each artist will bring their own crowd to showcase their work that could be like on the walls that devoted to one particular artist. And I also plan to arrange a craft fair in the field next to my shop, probably next
Mm.
year.
How do you, so because as we mentioned, it's part of it is a shop, part of it is a gallery. So then as a curator, so how do you curate the selection of artwork and products to ensure that they reflect the personalities of both the artists and the customers?
Okay, so I could see that there is a certain style in the products that I choose. They are,
Mm.
they are cute, whimsical, sometimes not so cute, sometimes like more like complicated, maybe a little dark, but they all have that quality that would, you know, fit the home nice, could be on the walls of the home, on the walls at home. And I could see that there are like other parts of art that are not like necessarily represented. So there is definitely this um, vibe here where I'm like in the old red Vermont barn, and it's like
Mm.
old barn building, and I called myself a Leopard Frog name, so it's like Vermont related name. So I have like not just Vermont but New England artists who look at the nature around them and reflect, on that nature. So it's a lot of it, different representations of local animals and local flowers. And but I also appreciate more modern, colorful like bright art, and that appeals to the younger audience, and that is, more like brings up the imaginary worlds rather than realistic. So it's like a good mix. But I think whoever walks in my shop, they could see how they would fit in, and they're like, it looks like I might be a good fit to that shop. And then, you know, and that's how it works. Or I was also like organizing markets before, and I know a lot of artists from those markets. So I just reached out to them and said, it's like, hey, do you want to be a part of my shop? So I don't know.
With what you've seen that people have bought in the shop, so in a way, has the customer response shaped the initial direction of what you started offering at Leopard Frog? Consider where you first started, where the business first started, to where it is today.
Well, I also think that I could see how customer like could request something that won't necessarily lie within my values, because
Mm.
sometimes I have people who are like, do you have something that says Vermont on it? And I'm like, well, that's great. And I adjusted that request. So I bought Vermont stickers, which are very artistically done, or Vermont tea towels, which are very artistically done. But that's it. There won't be like, the spoons, the shot glasses, the magnets, that might be something that people who are traveling on the Route 9 might want. But since I call myself a gallery and I'm trying to promote the art, that's as far as I go with something that says Vermont, you know.
So, what advice would you give someone who's interested in opening up, say, a similar art space that blends gallery and retail concepts?
Um, I think, there is a reason in the world why a gallery is a gallery and why a gift shop is a gift shop. So that's something that I learned as well. But I think that it is a good mix for where artists can diversify their goods and, not just sell an expensive wall art, but sell their own postcards and their own, notebooks with their imagery or their like printed mugs or something like that. So that's my personal interest, how to make art like wearable and usable,
Mm.
but I won't necessarily recommend to go that direction.
With the business side of it, how do you approach marketing and promoting Leopard Frog to attract both locals and tourists and visitors?
Yeah, well, local visitors centers were a great help. I had, my cards. They have their displays for the artists, so you can put your display there. And people can see what type of items are in the shop, and then they can come and visit the shop. That was a great help. Local chamber of commerce was like a great help for me. I had display near windows in downtown, and actually, uh, this year I was asked to illustrate the cover for the local directory, and it has a piece of my art on the cover of a directory of all the local businesses, and a little article, with a reference to my shop. So those local organizations were helping me to promote. I do some Facebook and Instagram promotion. I show up in the different pop-up markets and, promote myself there. That's like more of an organic audience where you promote not to everyone, but someone who already notice you and then, collect the emails and communicate with them. And this way I create my own audience that keeps coming back. And that's really rewarding, because, you know, when people come back, it means that we did something right.
That's true. And so, what do you hope visitors take away from their experience at Leopard Frog, whether they purchase something or simply just explore your store?
Yeah, a lot of people just explore, a lot of people purchase, and I think I think they do receive a unique experience because they're like, oh wow, this is such a unique shop. This is like so awesome. It doesn't feel like a shop. It feels different. And all the items here are so unique. Or some people are like, uh, they're like, what is it? So I think that I think I'm in a right way to have, like, to have a shop, to have some, I that's the best way to say it. I have something in between the shop and the gallery.
Mm.
And the way I balance it out is like purely based on the intuition or my desire to make the art usable or wearable or accessible to anyone who wants to experience it. And and or if people are getting willing to get the originals, and they have the funds to do that, that's also great. That's great for the artists. So yeah, I think that it makes this um, art experience like more friendly or something, or
Mm.
easier, or
So, Larissa, if people want to learn more about Leopard Frog and your art, where's the best place they could go to?
I think my best place is my Instagram account, which is leopardfrog.shop. Well, my website mostly represents the product that I make because I'm selling it online and I'm like wholesaling it.
Mm.
Uh, so all other products or all other news, yeah, yeah, that's it. Uh, on my Instagram. So it currently represents most of my work because I signed myself up into this 100-day challenge to show that I'm sticking to it. And but when I get a new artist in the shop, when I get the new products in the shop, when they have some news, like when I have new wholesale accounts that you can find my work somewhere in other parts of the country, that's all shows up on the Instagram. And it's like my customers are sharing their photos wearing the
Mm.
jewelry that they bought, or using the mugs that they bought or something like that. And that's pretty that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Larissa. This has been a great pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you for asking great questions. I appreciate it.